some of the things we might want to do in any of these areas. Strategic planning, I know that we had talked, the current strategic plan is probably what, David, 12 years old, 10 years old, something in that area? And I think we had talked last year about a refresh of that plan. I know we really didn't, I don't know how much we got to it this year, probably not much at all. So I think we need to look at that and bring that up to date.
One thing I think that we do need to do is, I think we need to do more of this communication with the community.
Yes.
I don't think that the community quite understands yet just what a bargain this system, the school system, is, and just how tight it's run. And that's the other thing that I found as I came on, that it is very, very tight. Every little button dial has been squeezed down to minimize cost. And the community needs to understand that. They also need to understand that, like, we have 30-year-old boilers.
Right. That aren't gonna last forever. Right.
And those are things that are out there that are, need to be budgeted and need to be planned out, and we need to have them funded. And the community has to understand that those are costs of their civic obligation. It isn't something that would be nice to have, it's something that we must have.
One of the things I was going to suggest for communications moving forward, and I know we have an expert on making videos here in our committee, Ms. Sauter, but I think we could look at using YouTube, for example, to have, whether it be committee members, and obviously we wouldn't just go out there as renegades and start talking about whatever we wanted, but have committee members. We could have a North Reading School District channel on YouTube. And it could be videos of, it could be during budget process, it could be Carl or David explaining the budget issues. It could be, each, I don't know what, it could be each member talking about a specific issue.
Could probably be thousands and thousands of hits.
I think it would be, I think they would all go viral in seconds. But I just think we do have to look at, I'm not saying we have to do it tomorrow, but I think we do have to look at the ways that people are communicating,
Oh, I mean, you wanna go that far, you live stream all of our meetings.
Well, we could do that. We could
Not
have
that I
our
think anyone
meetings.
would watch them,
We
but
could put our meetings on the web. We could live stream our meetings.
We could do that, I mean, there's a number of things we could do, but also we could start, putting together videos that are more about our policies.
Exactly.
Things like that, which gets into kind of strange gray territory. We would have to figure out really how to do that.
Right,
well.
how do you do it, right. But
Yeah.
so many people are going to the internet, whether it be YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or some news source, to get their information. And I think we have to start looking at ways to take advantage of that.
I'm just envisioning a video called Understanding Your Kids' Twitter Habits.
I think
Something
Dr.
like
Troughton
that.
should have a Twitter account.
We might have found it, from insomnia.
Who says he doesn't have one already?
He may have
We
one,
don't
that's right, we don't know.
know.
We don't know. But, things like Twitter, most of the major news stories that I find out about, I usually find out about from that service.
Well, I mean, we may be looking at a new committee for technology subcommittee.
Yeah, exactly, and how to
Which would also be a
use.
great way of doing collaboration with our staff and faculty. They could come up with some great ideas and we could work with them.
The one thing is, if Jerry runs it though, he'll be talking about stones and, tablets and chisels. In terms
No,
of
I'll be talking about the Boston Globe and the Herald.
Right.
And the 11 o'clock news.
Right.
Show the entire committee for
What's a
half.
chisel?
Yeah.
Mel, what's a chisel?
That metal thing,
No, metal
An
hasn't been
inventor.
invented yet.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
But I just think we ought to look at new ways to communicate and reach people. And then we have strategic planning. So David, do you expect to start looking at the, updating the strategic plan this year, and we also talk about, researching 21st century learning skills. A lot's going on, obviously. We heard Ms. Bogan tonight in the curriculum development. I think we're making good progress there, again, with limited resources. Overall, we did complete a lot of our goals, a lot of them are ongoing.
The secondary building
The
project.
secondary
is
building
obviously
project.
one that's ongoing that
Right.
we didn't talk about.
We finally officially completed the batch, I think we signed off on that
Yeah.
this year. And I do wanna mention, the great work of the administration in securing, was it $8 million approximately? $7 to $8 million from the state, in reimbursement, which, when we built that school, we had an inkling of hope, but not much hope that we would get, reimbursement for that, and we got about 50%
Well,
reimbursed,
I'll
so.
say this, I've said it a number of times in the past, to me, it was a windfall. I didn't expect it. Dr. Troughton was confident, I think, from day one, that we're gonna get reimbursement. I just said we have to move forward with, considering we're not gonna get it, and to get it was just an unbelievable, bonus for us, so. The other area too that we skipped over a little bit is the ongoing maintenance of the buildings and the grounds and everything. And I wanna say that I think Cal and his staff have done a tremendous job. We heard Kyle talk a little bit tonight about the types of things that he does that's probably a little extraordinary. But even the grounds, I mean, I've been critical in the past sometimes, but they look good, and I know that they're short-staffed and they don't have the resources to do it, but they do a fantastic job on the buildings.
And that's one of the things that Cliff mentioned that is overlooked. A couple of years ago, we hired an in-house HVAC professional, and I think that has enabled us to do a lot of maintenance and saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, that actually the security project, 5 schools, is terrific. And this summer, we're working on the asbestos project at the Little School.
Right. So that's just a quick review of our goals. Next, we have the superintendent's goals. I think, David, if you just want to address any specific areas that you want to focus on there.
If you want to push that off till the next meeting.
Yeah, maybe we can,
Because I
Give
usually
time
like
to
to.
digest.
you like
it.
I could
to
grade
add them up,
this. I
right?
could
We usually,
grade this
we
up
usually
an
grade
actual
his and
grade.
grade ours, and he's usually a little bit higher.
Yeah, but I don't know this time, I'm gonna have to look at this.
Count each one and see how. So we'll go over the superintendent's goals at our next meeting.
Thank you, Cliff.
Financial audit, we've done review of municipal property. This is our annual chance to look at the property that's owned around town, owned by the town, around town, and see if we have any interest. I looked at this, I don't know if anybody in the committee has any specific areas they think we ought to, show interest in. Most of the big lots are wetlands, from what I saw. There's a big plot up Chestnut Street. Is that where they're looking at the senior housing area? Okay. Which is desperately needed in this town. So anybody have any? Now, David, I get confused every year, I think, by this. There's a large area of square footage on Swan Pond, but that's not the land that we already own, correct? That's something different? 'Cause that's a huge area of land, 2,918,000 square feet. The last page?
It's conservation.
Oh, it probably is conservation. That's actually probably the land we're cutting the trees and thinning the trees out on, I would
That
guess.
is incredible.
Yeah. So do we have any desire to express an interest in any of this land?
Not at this time.
I don't think so. Cliff,
I think
you need to take a vote? So at this time, we'll,
No change in status.
right, I'll obtain a motion that there's no change in status in terms of school committee interest in town-owned land.
second.
No, someone's gonna make.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Mr. Venezia, a second by Mr. Bowers. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Sorry, I was writing. Who did what?
Jerry, motioned and Cliff seconded.
Not
Bills and payrolls, we don't have any. I don't see any.
Yeah,
No.
were we supposed to?
Oh, geez,
There's
Kathy
nobody
would-
here to
Well,
harass us
they must be in the
about it.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Better make sure before we leave.
Minutes. Regular meeting, school committee, June 23rd. I saw some things. On the second page, number, on G6, we did not increase the activity fee by $25. Am I correct on that? We only increased the
Page one?
page 2 of the June 23rd meeting?
Correct.
We didn't increase the, we only increased the athletic fee, not the activity fee, for grades 6 through 12. And then, on the vote, it was 4-1, not 4-0. Mr. Bauer's voting no, it was 4-1. And also on the next page, under D3, the vote was 4-1. Mrs. Baca voting no. That's all I had. Do they have anything else? And motion to approve as amended?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, we'll give motion to Ms. Sauter, seconded by Mr.
I'll
Venezia,
second it.
to approve the June 23rd minutes as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Then we have the executive session. I didn't find any issues with that. Anybody? Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Can I have a
Second.
second? Motion by Mr. Venezia, second by Ms. Sauter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, now I lost the line. Budget update, we have nothing. Staffing, we have one report, David.
Yes, I need to report that David Callaghan has submitted a letter of intent to resign from his position as assistant principal at North Reading Middle School. Mr. Callaghan has accepted a position of assistant principal in Lexington at the Diamond Middle School. So it's really our loss. David has worked here in North Reading at the middle school for 7 years and done a nice job. Came in as a brand new assistant principal, and he's now moving on to Lexington. So Lexington's gain and our loss. We have posted for the position, and that should be closing, I think, in a week. And the current, I understand we have from Mr. Fauché over 50 applicants for the position. So,
Wow.
well, our goal is to have a decision by, hopefully by the opening of school, but I don't know whether a person will be ready to start by the opening of school. In the interim, Mr. Fauché recommends that the two guidance counselor school psychologists, Mrs. Weiss and Mrs. Carmody, work with Mr. Fauché in getting the school ready from scheduling and so forth. So Mr. Callaghan will be leaving the end of this month.
Wish him well. Thank you for
Yes,
7 years.
absolutely.
North Reading. Good luck. Good luck in Lexington. We have no bids and donations. We have no subcommittee reports, correct? Administrative reports. We do have a few things.
Yes, there's actually some nice things. Dave Johnson, Mr. Johnson, our athletic director, has announced that North Reading High School is a recipient of the Highland Trophy. It's the second year in a row, given in the Cape Ann League to the school with the highest win-loss percentages. So really is an outstanding performance for our students, student athletes, as well as our coaches in the athletic department. Secondly, Mr. Bernard reports, as he usually does at this time. We have a large number of students who are not going to be coming to North Reading High School. They're leaving the 8th grade class. 8 of those students are going to the vocational school. We have a large contingent going to St. John's Prep, and then 2 here, 3 there, and so forth. So at the same time, Mr. Bernard does report that we have an increase of students returning in the 10th grade. So We see students going out, but we see students